Hey guys, what's up? It's Darkmake here and welcome back to another video. It has been a while, but BlizzCon has been and gone, and what kind of a Warcraft content creator would I be if I didn't make a video immediately after it? Or 4 days after it, or 5 days, or whenever I get this up. So, Shadowlands was announced, and for obvious reasons, we are hyped up like little fucking school kids. Well, I am at least. I am beyond thrilled at the platform they have set out for Shadowlands so far. In my head at the moment, I am just like, skip 8.3. Fuck 8.3 right out the door. N'Zoth, who, just bring on the Shadowlands. It honestly sounds like Blizzard have taken so much feedback, so much that they've hopefully learned from Classic launch, the failing of the Azeroth system, the shitty RNG experiences that are driving people away, and the consistent, never-ending grinds. It looks at the moment like things could be good. So in this video, I am going to give a recap of BlizzCon, strictly about World of Warcraft, just giving my thoughts. Keep in mind, obviously, these are my opinions and my thoughts, and you may have very different ones. As always, I will be very interested to have a discussion in the comments below. Alright, so, Shadowland highlights. So, quick things that I'm not really going to expand on. War mode, it still exists. Good, I think this is a really good option. Flying is going to be the exact same thing as Legion and BFA via Pathfinders. Again, I think this is an excellent thing. I actually did not miss not having flying in BFA. I think it really does get you into the world, the large feeling, being sort of immersed in that environment and having to actually go places. I don't know, it does wonders for me. You might be different. Legendaries will finally be transmoggable. So, fucking amen to the 1 billion thunder fucking furies that will be rolling throughout Stormwind. I don't even care. It is fucking awesome, and that is a brilliant change. Heritage armor will be obtained by reaching the new level cap of 60. I'll get into that later. If you haven't done all these yet, looking at myself, you might actually be better off waiting to level for your heritage armor in Shadowlands rather than doing it now. Though in saying that, Shadowlands is a fucking long time away, so it depends if you want to wait. Alright, now on to the bigger things. So leveling, as I just briefly mentioned. So, leveling. A level squish is going to be incoming. We are going to be squished back to level 50 in the current world. So all the 120s at the moment will become level 50. Your power, however, everything you can do will stay the same. It is only the level next to you that is changing. You'll then be leveling from 50 to 60 in the Shadowlands. So along with this comes a whole revamped leveling experience. So level 1 to 10 is done in a new zone that includes a mini dungeon at the end of it. The new zone is called the Exile's Reach and will introduce new players to concepts and how the game actually functions, and it ends in that mini dungeon as I spoke about, which you can either do in a solo form or you can queue. So from a level 10 perspective, I actually think, from 1 to 10 perspective, I actually think this is really good for new players. From level 10, new players to the game must level via BFA. I don't know if you could see that, but I fucking spat everywhere. I think this is a good thing, and I agree with what Blizzard said, because when I first heard it, I was kind of like, you what, mate? But as they said, it gives them the current story. If you're a new player coming into the game and you have to level through BFA, you've just experienced what everybody else playing the game has experienced. You're on the same end point of the story. It just helps bring you into where everybody else is. So I do not think that this is a bad thing. For people who have already been playing the game and have leveled characters, you can do level 10 to 50 in any expansion that you choose. You'll do this via Chromie, who will reach out to you and help you choose one of the expansions that you want to level through, and she'll put you into a kind of outside time-walking type questing loop thingamajig. At level 50, you'll get to enter the Shadowlands and you'll do the last 10 levels. So, I'm chuffed to hear this. Leveling is going to be 60 to 70% faster from 1 to 50, which is why I was talking about possibly waiting for leveling your heritage characters. This is huge. This really takes the burden and the grind off leveling, as well as just being able to level through your own expansion. Like, this is fantastic. You can have whatever experience you want leveling. For people who still don't have Lawmaster, looking at myself, that's going to be, well, it's already easier to finish, but now you can do it while you're leveling. So I'm going to go ahead and say it's easier, though it's probably not. Some new players, being introduced with that Exile's Reach. If you're a new player coming into WoW now, it can feel like it's extremely bloated and overwhelming. There's so many things to do. This is a great introduction to the game. They can level up. They can come through the same story arc that we've all been after they sort of get a grip on the game. They find out how a dungeon works. I think it's awesome. The level squish itself is also going to be a great change. One thing I really got when I went back and started playing Classic, and that lasted for about 5 weeks before I thought, fuck it, I've done this before, and I don't know. It didn't float my boat for very long. But each level, you felt like you gained a sense of power. The talent trees, the leveling experience, it felt really good. And we had a lot of chats on stream about sort of what we were hoping Blizzard would take from this huge Classic launch experience and success and put into the new expansion. And it really seems that they've taken notice of that. So leveling, pew pew. So next up is Covenants. So these are the ruling powers of the Shadowlands, and there are 4 covenants, and I am going to murder the pronunciation of them because I couldn't be fucked going back and watching BlizzCon and seeing how they said some of them, so bear with me. The Kyrian, the Necrolord, the Night Fae, and the Venthyr. That actually sounded alright. So you'll be questing through 4 zones in the Shadowland, and you will learn all about the covenants, and then you'll make a choice at level 60 about which frat house you want to join. So your choices, the Kyrians, they're the denizens of the Bastion. They're angelic beings embracing humility and service to their order. Fuck them. Necrolords, they comprise of liches, warlords, and spies. The Necrolord covenants, called Maldraxxus, they make up an army that defends the Shadowlands. They sound pretty cool. Who's Up Dauntless? It's a shit movie. Shit book. Night Fae, guardians of nature. The Night Fae inhabit Ardenweald and shepherd beings through the cycle of life and death. It was through their aid that the demigod Cenarius was able to make his return to Azeroth during the events of the Cataclysm. So, the Druids. And Venthyr, making their home in Rivendreth, the vampiric Venthyr are the punishers of the unworthy, seeking to rehabilitate the sinful souls sent to them by the Arbiter. So I'm gonna be a vampire. Fucking Edward Cullen, come at me. So there are your choices for your Covenant Sanctum, and it's similar to your Order Hall. You'll be spending a lot of time there. So Covenants are the major feature for Shadowlands. They're integrated into every aspect of the game, and each covenant will seek your aid and offer power and rewards in return for your assistance. Covenants will grant certain things. They'll grant backpack-style cloaks, weapons, armor, upgradable mounts, world benefits, and bring along with it a Covenant campaign story. So I really like this. I think class halls were a fantastic aspect of Legion. Players have been crying out for more cosmetic-style rewards. I am certainly one of them. And this seems to deliver a certain element of that. So then we have, along with our covenants, we have covenant abilities. Now everyone learns one ability, it's one utility ability and one combat ability. So the utility abilities, and these again, I don't know how final they are, but this is what we've got so far. Soul Shape is the Night Fae one, and this turns you into a spirit fox. It gives you 30% movement speed and causes enemies to ignore you. It lasts 10 seconds or until cancelled while in a rest area, so you can use it for as long as you want in a rest area. It has a 1.5 minute CD and is custom. You can customize it with different features in regards to what you want to look like. I think there was an elk and a butterfly. The first thing I want to know is causing enemies to ignore you. Can this be used in dungeons and in Mythic Plus was the first thing that came to my brain. Unburdened is the Kyrian one. This is a 1 minute cooldown. It's a 1 second cast. Dissolve into pure anima, increasing your movement speed by 300%, slowing your falling speed and propelling you forward for 4 seconds. Greatly reduces the radius at which enemies will detect you. The Necrolord one is Transcend the Flesh. It's an instant cast. It's a 3 minute cooldown. You separate your soul from your body for 20 seconds. Your soul is invisible and untargetable, though your body remains vulnerable and where it is. This effect will end early if you move further than 60 yards from your body. When Transcend the Flesh ends or cancel, your body rejoins your soul. And then the Venthyr one is Door of Shadows. It's a 40-yard range, 2-second cast, 2-minute cooldown so far. When through the shadows appear at the target's location. So kind of sounds like a shadow step sort of thing. And then we have the Covenant abilities, and I'm not going to go and read all these out word for word because they change for every single class, and a few of the classes have been shown now in regards to what their abilities are, but each Covenant will give you a class ability too, which enables you to do different things, AoE, more single target, lots of different things. Really exciting things coming from this. And lastly, tied into all these Covenant and Covenant abilities, we have Soulbinds. So when you reach max level and you join your Covenant, you'll be able to bind your soul to one of the several powerful beings within that Covenant. Now, two of the examples we got were the Mad Duke and Nadjai. Yeah, Mad Duke. So Mad Duke is a 5% increased critical strike chance against target whose current health percentage is lower than yours. And Nadjaya, this person, your parry is increased by 6%. If you are normally unable to parry, Nads will teach you how to parry. That's pretty cool. So you'll unlock new powers as you progress throughout the game and the story. You'll have a different talent tree for Soulbinds as well that you'll fill with things called conduits. With this, you can swap and change abilities like with talents and tomes. And you can kind of keep customizing this as you kind of wish. Now, it kind of, when they showed it on the screen, it kind of reminded me of the artifact weapon tree, but with abilities to swap sort of things that you wanted in and out of your tree and had a lot more freedom of choice and customization to it, which is absolutely awesome. You can also change your Covenant if you decide you're in the wrong one. However, it's going to take a bit of time to build your rep back up with the new Covenant that you decide to go to. I'm not so sure what happens to your rewards. You could obviously do this on multiple characters, and Transmog is going to unlock account-wide, I would assume anyway. I'm not sure if you can do one Covenant though and then join another one if you were just doing it on one character and keep the Transmog, the cosmetic rewards and things like that still unlocked from the previous. I have no idea what's going on with that. So moving into the dungeon side of things, we didn't get a lot of info about dungeons. There's going to be 8 new dungeons in addition to a Tower of the Damned, or Torghast the Tower of the Damned, which I'll get into in a minute. So there's going to be 4 leveling dungeons: the Necrotic Wake, Plaguefall, Mists of Turner Scythe, or something like those loans, and Halls of Atonement. And then we gain 4 max level dungeons once we get to 60: Spires of Ascension, Theatre of Pain, the Other Side, and Sanguine Depths. So they didn't really go into much detail of the dungeons. We didn't get to see sort of anything, and that was pretty much all that was mentioned about dungeons. Then we get onto this thing called Anima. Now, what is Anima? To be honest, I don't really fucking know. It's going to be the energy or life force in which we use to build up to forge our legendaries and gain specialized abilities via the Tower of the Damned, though. So Blizzard have said that this won't be another Azeroth grind, because as soon as I heard it, and I heard that it was going to be the thing that we use to gain, we earn to build our legendaries, I thought, oh great, so we've gone from artifact power to Azeroth power to Anima power. What is it with AP? But they have said that this is not replacing the Azeroth grind. It is not going to be a grind. It will be, hopefully in the way they've described it, more like a Valor Points cap or something to that degree. They do not want to create another open-ended infinite progression grind that has diminishing returns in place, but people just keep going. They want you to feel like you've done enough, and your effort is optimal. More effort might just end up resulting in more cosmetic type rewards or utility, which I am absolutely okay with. So then we move on to Torghast, the Tower of the Damned. Now, this is located in the Maw. The Maw is a zone for bad peoples. It's also the access point for where we will be getting into Torghast, the Tower of the Damned. It's the home of the big bad jailer. Now, the tower is an endless, ever-changing dungeon that can be played solo or with up to 4 people. Roles do not matter. It has been classed as endgame progression and the second major feature of Shadowlands. Now, we are classed as Maw Walkers. So we can enter and leave the Maw. No one has ever been able to do this before, and that's why the Covenants are so interested in us. So through time and progression through the tower, you earn permanent upgrades and absorb anima that you will then use to transform into powers. The first few floors are a standard dungeon crawl, and the higher up you get, there are traps, puzzles, locked doors, dangerous minions. It is not a timed mode, so you should be exploring everything as you are in the dungeon. You do not have a time limit on it. Anima in the Maw allows you to choose between certain powers as you build them up. So there's Obleron Endurance, which increases your maximum health by 10%, or Obleron Talesman, which increases your mastery by 5%. Apparently, you can also find things called Corruption Antennas, which give your attacks a chance to curse your target, which deals shadow damage. You might find things called Shadow Irises, which makes it so you deal shadow damage, and it has a chance to blind targets. So you can sort of use these things that you find in the towers to try and help make combos to progress you further through the tower. There are a whole bunch of other things in there too. Golden Idols, Ardent Endurance, Bloating Fodders, Heavy Hoof Sandals, Chain of Command. There are loads and loads and loads of things that you're able to sort of find throughout the tower to try and make your way through there easier. Which sounds really cool. While you're going through there, you'll be collecting runes to take to a rune forge, and a rune sage will help you forge legendary items. You'll learn, it says in here, learn about Frostmourne and the Helm of Domination. Now, obviously, the Helm of Domination's played into the cinematic and things like that, but does that mean I can have Frostmourne? The tower is what you will use to grind towards your legendaries, and it's what you will use to craft, or the anima in there is what you will use to craft and wield your legendaries that you're going to have in the Shadowlands. You get to choose the legendary slot, apparently, the secondary stat, and the powers. This is going to be interesting. Now, it really does seem like Blizzard have listened to people in regards to what they wanted from legendaries. Obviously, Legion legendaries were a fantastic success, eventually, just not the way in which they were obtained. RNG factor of it was terrible. This removes the RNG factor of it, and again, is looking very thumbs up-ish. We've got new Mythic Plus affixes coming, though we have absolutely no fucking idea what they are. A change in Mythic Plus bounties is coming, praise Jeebus. Apparently we're going to get the option to choose from 5 or 6 items, and if you don't like any of them, you will get to choose something else, so it always feels like you are getting something out of it. This is an outstanding change to Mythic Plus. Outside the first few weeks when everything is new or the season resets and the item level goes up, you get something and it's okay. After that, you are getting the same pair of braces, you are getting cloaks, you are getting boots, you are just getting shit, and each week the Mythic chest feels like a letdown. This is a fantastic change. I was really hoping to hear some expansion around the Mythic Plus loot system in regards to having different structured tiers, so I still don't think a plus 15 should be rewarding the same item level as a plus 10 from the weekly chest, nor should a plus 20, nor should a plus 21, 22, yada yada. They need to make some kind of tiered system for Mythic Plus loot to keep it as a relevant way of gearing. I know they want to keep raiding current. I know they don't want Mythic Plus to replace raiding, and that's certainly not what I'm after. Mythic raiding is the flagship. You want to do that, you deserve the best stuff. However, I think if you're doing a plus 20 key, you probably deserve at the end of the week something on par, or even from your dungeons, one piece of loot that's on par with Mythic raiding. I don't know the way to do it. You certainly can't have then all the Mythic guilds going and doing, plus 20s and gearing up extremely quicker than you would have through a raid, or having new people come in and be able to gear up than a guild that only Mythic raids. But they need to do something. They need to do something to differentiate that plus 10, plus 15, plus 20 and above. I really don't understand as well. I was again hoping to hear cosmetic rewards for Mythic Plus. I don't get how you can have a PvP season, and if you get to 2100, you get a full transmog set. Why is that so hard in regards to Mythic Plus? Why can't you just have a shitty recolored set of the Mythic raid tier or something like that? You have an internal measuring system like Radar, which Blizzard are apparently working on. You get to 2100 IO, pick whatever you want, and then you gain that transmoggable set. And that changes every season. Why is that hard, Blizzard? Come on. Raid-wise, the starting raid is going to be a 10 boss raid called Castle Nathria. It's Dracula's castle. Sounds pretty cool. Haven't seen much else, but we're not going in through the sewers. Classes. We're near the end, guys. Sorry, I know I've been talking for a while, but there's a lot to cover and I'm excited. Classes. In an effort to reforge class identity in the Shadowlands rather than spec identity, a number of abilities are coming back to classes. So what does this mean? So we got a few things. Poisons are coming back to rogues class-wide. Curses are coming back to warlocks. Auras are coming back to paladins. Shamans still have totems, but persistent totems are coming back like Healing Stream, Searing Totem. Shattering Throw is coming back for warriors. Fuck your bubbles, paladins. Iconic class abilities like Raise Dead, Frost Shock, Consecration, Ursol's Vortex, Shiv, Death Coil are all coming back spec-wides. Talents and honor talents, Demonic Circle, Summon Gargoyle, Hunter's Mark, Hammer of Wrath, Cyclone and Anti-Magic Zone are all reappearing again as well. So amazing things are coming back in regards to class identity, as I think, you know, when we tried to go down the spec path in Legion, shit just got out of control and it's a mess. Lastly, improved character customization is incoming as well. So more options than ever in regards to tattoos, hair, faces, tusks, skin variants, the Asian guy that they zoomed up on in the crowd. Nice work. And everyone can now be DKs. Crazy. So I'm blown away by the Shadowlands announcement. I think it looks absolutely phenomenal. I'm sure people will be hating on it. I saw a number of people hating on the cinematic. I thought the cinematic was really cool. I just wish Bolvar had to put up, you know, a little bit more of a fight. I kind of felt like he was a bitch. But I am so excited for this. I'm ready to fuck 8.3 off and just get straight to Shadowlands. It really looks like Blizzard took that feedback on and are coming back with a vengeance. So huge. And that is it, guys. Let me know your thoughts below. Like, comment, subscribe. Come find me on Discord. Come say hi on Twitch, and I will see you all next time. See you, fam.